always a united entity, but a collection of independent colonies. A journey back in time takes us to the year 1492, when Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, set foot on the New World. This marked the onset of a series of explorations and settlements by Europeans. The British, Spanish, Dutch, and French all sought to establish their footholds, exploring and colonizing this vast, uncharted land. Among these, the establishment of Jamestown in 1607 stands out as a significant milestone. It was the first permanent English colony in America, marking the beginning of a British dominance that would later shape the destiny of the continent. This was more than just the establishment of a new settlement. It was the dawn of a new era, a shift in global power dynamics, and the genesis of what would eventually become one of the world's superpowers. It was a beginning of a new era, a dawn of a new world. As the colonies grew and prospered, seeds of discontent were sown. But why? As you delve into the history of the United States, it's almost impossible to overlook the pivotal role of the British colonial rule. The colonies saw significant growth, with population numbers swelling and the economy booming. But as the colonies grew, so did the British government's desire to reap more from this prosperous land. The British Crown imposed a series of taxes on the colonists, a concept known as taxation without representation. This was because the colonists had no say in the British Parliament. They were being taxed without having any representation in the government that was imposing these taxes. In addition to the financial burden, this was a blow to the colonists' sense of justice and fairness. The growing resentment among the colonists was palpable. They felt marginalized, exploited, and unheard. The colonists, once loyal subjects of the British Crown, began questioning their allegiance. The seeds of discontent were being sown, and these seeds were about to sprout into a full-fledged revolution. One significant event that stands out during this period is the Boston Tea Party of 1773. This was not a tea party in the conventional sense, but rather a political protest. Angered by the Tea Act imposed by the British government, a group of colonists in Boston, disguised as Mohawk Indians, boarded 3 British ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston harbor. This rebellious act was a direct defiance of British authority and was one of many incidents that stoked the flames of revolution. The Boston Tea Party was more than just a protest. It was a statement. It was a rallying cry for freedom and a bold declaration of independence. It was a message to the British Crown that the colonists would no longer tolerate injustice. The stage was set for a revolution, a fight for freedom. The colonies were on the brink of an unprecedented upheaval, a revolution that would not only change the face of the 13 colonies but also reshape the world. The seeds of discontent had been sown, and the time had come for them to bear fruit. The American Revolution was imminent. 1776, a year that marked the birth of a new nation, but what exactly happened? In the summer of 1776, a group of 13 colonies along the eastern seaboard of North America took a bold step. They decided to break away from the rule of the British Empire, which had controlled them for over a century. This decision was not taken lightly, nor was it unanimous. But the voices calling for independence grew louder and stronger, fueled by a desire for self-governance and freedom from what they perceived as unjust taxation and oppression by the British Crown. On July 4, 1776, in the midst of a sweltering Philadelphia summer, the Second Continental Congress gathered to sign a document that would forever change the course of history. This was the Declaration of Independence, a powerful testament to the colonists' unwavering resolve to create a new nation, free and independent of British rule. The declaration was more than just a statement of intent. It was a promise of a new kind of government, one that derived its power from the consent of the governed. It was a blueprint for a nation that would value life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness above all else. But the road to independence was not an easy one. The Revolutionary War, a fierce and bloody conflict, raged for 7 long years. Despite facing a formidable enemy in the British forces, the American colonies fought with determination and grit. They were driven by the belief that their cause was just, that they were fighting not just for their own freedom, but for the principle of self-determination. Finally, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, marking the end of the Revolutionary War and officially recognizing the United States of America as a sovereign nation. The 13 colonies had won their independence and a new nation was born. A nation of diverse peoples united by a shared belief in freedom, equality, and the power of the individual. and thus, the United States of America was born. From a humble beginning of 13 colonies, how did the United States grow to its current size? An intriguing question indeed. The first significant step in the expansion of the United States came with the Louisiana Purchase in the year 1803. This monumental real estate deal between the United States and France doubled the size of the young nation almost overnight. For a sum of $15 million, the United States acquired an enormous swath of land stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, paving the way for westward expansion. Around the same time, a belief began to take root among the American people, a belief known as manifest destiny. This was the idea that the United States was destined, by God, some believed, to stretch across the entire North American continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This conviction fueled the push westward and played a significant role in the admission of new states into the Union. But the rapid expansion of the United States wasn't without its challenges. The most notable of these was the Civil War, which raged from 1861 to 1865. This conflict, fought primarily over the issues of slavery and states' rights, tore the nation apart. The war resulted in the death of more than 600,000 Americans, making it one of the bloodiest conflicts in U.S. history. The Civil War left deep scars on the nation, but it also led to significant changes. The end of the war brought about the end of slavery with the passage of the 13th Amendment. The country was forced to confront its divisions and to work towards creating a more unified nation. The United States, though scarred, stood united and continued to grow. The war had tested the resilience of the American people and the strength of their democratic ideals. Despite the challenges, the nation emerged stronger, setting the stage for further expansion and development in the years to come. From the ashes of the Civil War, a modern nation arose. But how? As we moved into the late 19th century, the United States was on the cusp of a transformative period known as the Industrial Revolution. This era brought about significant changes in agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and transportation. Factories sprang up across the country and cities expanded at an unprecedented rate. The United States was shifting from an agrarian society to an industrial powerhouse. Then came the World Wars, two defining global conflicts that changed the course of history. In the First World War, the United States emerged as a decisive force, tipping the scales in favor of the Allies. A couple of decades later, during the Second World War, the United States once again played a pivotal role. The nation's industrial might was harnessed to produce a staggering amount of war material, and the bravery of its soldiers was demonstrated on battlefields across the globe. These wars marked the United States' entrance onto the world stage, not just as a participant, but as a leader. In the mid-20th century, the United States experienced another significant shift, the Civil Rights Movement. This period saw a wave of activism aimed at ending racial segregation and discrimination. It was a struggle for equality, and it reshaped the social and political landscape of the nation. The Civil Rights Movement was a testament to the power of the people and the ideals of justice and equality that the United States was built upon. Alongside these historical events, the United States witnessed a series of technological advancements that propelled the country into the forefront of innovation. From the invention of the telephone and the internet to the development of space travel, American ingenuity has consistently pushed the boundaries of what's possible. Today, the United States stands as a beacon of democracy and progress. From its inception as a group of rebel colonies to its current status as a global superpower, the nation's journey has been marked by moments of struggle and triumph. It's a testament to the resilience and determination of the American spirit. From a handful of colonies to a global superpower, the journey of the United States is indeed inspiring. We've journeyed together through the dawn of a new world, where early settlers dared to dream of a life of freedom and opportunity. We've revisited the seeds of revolution, ignited by the desire for independence and the birth of a nation that followed, a testament to the power of unity and resolve. We've traversed the era of expansion and civil war, a tumultuous period that tested the nation's resilience, but ultimately led to a stronger, more united country. Finally, we've explored the modern era, where the United States, on the strength of its ideals and innovation, emerged as a global leader. Each state, each chapter has its unique tale, contributing to the rich tapestry of American history. The United States, a nation born out of revolution, continues to inspire and lead, shaping the course of human history.